All three of my colonies came through the winter in very good shape, despite one of them having been blown over by the winter gales. I couldn't have wished for a better start to my 71st year in beekeeping. Having reached a stage where 2 colonies are quite sufficient for me to manage, I sold one and look forward to a relatively quiet time looking after the other 2. I used to drive up this track to my bees, but the farmer ploughed it up to double the width of the headland. As a result, I had to hack a path through the nettle bed in order to reach my bees. By the end of March, the strength of both colonies had increased considerably, so I put supers on to give them a bit more room and also somewhere to store the honey that was coming in. One of my colonies took me by surprise in early May and swarmed. I collected it from a nearby hedge and put it into a new hive. It never ceases to fascinate me just watching the bees all rushing up into their new home. I now have 3 colonies. Not to be outdone, the other hive swarmed a week later. Luckily, I arrived to do my weekly inspection just as it was coming out. Luckier still, I saw the old queen on the ground in front of the hive, so I quickly disposed of her, and then after about 10 or 15 minutes, the bees all started going back into the hive from whence they'd come. In order to prevent it happening again, I artificially swarmed the colony by splitting it in 2. So now I had 4. After this they settled down, and in early June I took 50 pounds of honey off each of the 2 original hives. One day in late July, a swarm arrived and took up residence in a box of combs I had stored under the carport. Here you can see bees fanning a scent from the white Nasenhof gland in the base of their abdomen. This attracts the rest of the swarm to their new home. Later that evening, they were transferred to a proper hive in my apiary, colony number 5. A week later, a call from a neighbour had me collecting a swarm from a tree a couple of 100 yards up the road. Number 6. In August, a floral headland was really coming into bloom, but by then the main honey flow was over, and I'd taken 542 pounds of honey altogether from the hives. So, as I usually do, I've left the bees the rest of the time through August, September, October to build up their winter stores. So there they are, all settled down for the winter. I started with 2, had to split them, that made 4, picked up 2 swarms, 6, a bumper crop of honey. What was that I was saying about just keeping 2 hives now? Well, not entirely according to plan, but it was a very good year with my bees.